Hello everyone. I was having brunch with a bunch of my friends a couple of weeks ago and they asked me, Sylvia, why is it that when we drink red wine, we feel a horrible headache? Why is it that some wines make us feel even worse? And so I'm gonna explain to you why that is the case. I'm Sylvia, a PhD, and I'm going to explain to you what science knows about this rather incredibly annoying phenomena that is red wine headaches. Alcohol or ethanol is metabolized or broken down in your liver to create acetate in a two-step process. Ethanol is broken down firstly into acetaldehyde by an enzyme that's called alcohol dehydrogenase or ADH. Then acetaldehyde is converted into acetate by aldehyde dehydrogenase or ALDH. There are two forms of ALDH enzyme, ALDH1 and ALDH2. ALDH2 is the one that converts the most amount of acetaldehyde into acetate. When there are higher doses of alcohol in our liver, there is a fast conversion of ethanol to acetaldehyde by ADH. But ALDH cannot convert acetaldehyde to acetate fast enough, which leads to acetaldehyde buildup. Acetaldehyde can produce adverse effects such as, you guessed it, headache, nausea, sweating, and blushing of the face. So that's just how your liver metabolizes ethanol or alcohol. So any alcohol that you ingest will create the situation. So why then is red wine worse? Well, it appears that red wine in particular have more components that will cause this red wine headache. Some of these components are tannins, biogenic amines, sulfites, and phenolic flavonoids. And interestingly enough, this study that was published just a couple of weeks ago looked into one of the flavonoids found in red wine. One of these flavonoids, called quercetin, has been implicated to affect the effects of ALDH, the enzyme that converts acetaldehyde to acetate. So this group studied one of the derivatives of quercetin and they found out that it inhibits ALDH2 enzyme by 80%. ALDH2 converts acetaldehyde more rapidly than ALDH1. So 80% of all the acetaldehyde that would be rapidly converted by ALDH2 is staying in your blood. Until ALDH1 and other pathways are finally able to catch up with a high supply of acetaldehyde, you are going to experience all of those symptoms: nausea, headache, flushing, sweating. So that might explain why red wine gives us a terrible headache. Why is it that sometimes some wines are worse than others? Well, they have different amounts of quercetin in them. And the amount of quercetin depends on a few different things, such as sunlight exposure to the grapes, the fermentation process, stabilization techniques, and also aging methods. So that's probably the reason why sometimes you can drink a red wine and you're gonna be fine, and sometimes you can drink another one and you're gonna feel terrible just minutes after you've drank the first sip. It's because they have different amounts of quercetin in them, but you will never be able to figure that out. So what is the solution? Well, just don't drink. But if you have to, then my advice to you would be go to all of the bottles of wine that you can possibly go through, have a notebook with you and take notes. Probably by the time that hits Christmas, you're gonna have experimented with, 30, 40, 100 wines. That way you're gonna be playing Russian roulette with your wines, but at least there is a reason for it. Now, I'm gonna take one step further and I'm gonna explain to you why is it that some Asians can't seem to hold their liquor very well at all. Well, there are two different forms of ALDH2. One is ALDH2-1, which is found in most of the world's population, and ALDH2-2, which is a dysfunctional variant. And guess what? That dysfunctional variant is found in around 40% of East Asian populations. And the thing is, you can have 2 copies of that enzyme in your genes. If you have 1 copy of it, you're gonna have a reduced enzymatic activity. Also gonna have a lot of acetaldehyde built up in your blood. Now, if you have 2 copies of it, then you do not have any activity for the enzyme. And so if you're gonna have a reduced enzymatic activity for ALDH2 or no activity whatsoever, you're gonna be feeling pretty sick until ALDH1 can do something for you and transform acetaldehyde into acetate. So now that you know why it is that some red wines give you more headaches than others, share this with someone who loves red wine but can't seem to be able to drink it that well. And also your Asian friend who is all drunk and red and nauseated after just 1 sip of any alcohol at all. Let them know it's not their fault. It's their physiology working against them, and that truly they shouldn't really be drinking any alcohol. It's not gonna get any better, buddy. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Okay guys, I'll catch you later on the next video. See ya. It's just the metabolization of, that's a word. But so far, there hasn't been